That's right. We are live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the official launch party of Suimmortal here on our Smokin Gun Comics YouTube channel. I am Cecil Lammey, the CEO and co-founder of Smokin Gun Comics. And on Friday, we did a little secret. You'll see it right behind me. We just launched Suimmortal on Kickstarter. So make sure to check that out. I will put a link in the description of this video. And tonight, on tonight's broadcast, I'm going to reach out to Kenneth Sullivan. Ken helps me with my marketing, the videos you see here at the beginning. He does as well. So I am emailing him right now to get in here and to talk some comics with me. So we'll talk to Ken Sullivan coming up tonight. We do have some other videos coming up for you that will be towards the end of this campaign, but we are live on Kickstarter now with Suimmortal. That's right, is the Suimmortal Kickstarter Ash Can, and you can get your copy now. It is available at Kickstarter. Look for Suimmortal. There is nothing left for me, and everybody dies. Well, at least he thinks everybody dies, except for him. But I'll get into the story of Suimmortal in just a little bit. Also have some surprises to show you coming up later on tonight's program as well. But I promised it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some videos of the projects that we have worked on and are coming up here as well. Also, as promised, Ken Sullivan, KS Productions, joins me now. Ken, good evening. Good night. How's it going, man? Oh, can't hear you. Can't hear you. Oh, yeah. Technology. We'll get his microphone figured out and then he'll start talking. So now thought I heard something.
Hello.
Yeah, I got you now. There you go, Ken.
All right.
How you doing, man?
It's been a busy day. Just doing some design work today, and got to go film a commercial tomorrow.
Okay, filming a commercial tomorrow, getting your work in today. This is actually Martinelli's sparkling cider, although I guess it's my show. I could drink champagne if I wanted to, but I just wanted to crack it open and kind of celebrate, man. We have our second Kickstarter going right now, soft launch on Friday, and it looks like we have 10 backers already for Suimmortal. Is that right, Ken?
It was 7 or 10.
It's
11%.
Just a little bit earlier now.
Yeah.
Looks like it was 10. I think it was about 17% the last time I checked. Not that I'm keeping like total tabs on it once an hour, but yeah, it's exciting, man, to get into these Kickstarters once again.
Yeah, we get the emails,
Yeah, we'll get the notifications that something's going on, and that's, well, the Kickstarter has begun now. And after one, I feel maybe not like we're professionals, but I feel like a little bit more ready for what's going to happen during the Kickstarter and the crowdfunding campaign.
Exactly. I think we get over that first hump, and then it's like, all right, what can we add to, one, the Indiegogo for fake booze, and then two, what can we add for Suimmortal? What can we add for death support?
Right.
What can we put out there that's, takes your stories and puts it a notch above some of the others.
Yeah, and it's like, what do people like? You know what I mean? That's one thing you and I've talked about privately, is like, well, what does the customer want? Do they, and just from the start of the Suimmortal campaign, our rookie cards are hot. I mean, I think it was the #1 tier for fake booze was with the rookie card included, and guess what? If the 10 backers right now, I think a majority of them have the tier with the rookie card. So I think it's pretty cool that we can, kind of hit what the fans want, Ken, because we're always just curious as to what's going to hit with them, whether it's prints, whether it's stickers, rookie cards, comics, variant covers, naughty covers, whatever it is. Like, we're kind of up to you, the customer. Like, you tell us what you want and we'll figure out a way to make it happen.
100%. I think, I think a lot of other Kickstarters and that are out there, it's all the little extra things that, like, I think people were going to back the story maybe on the fence, but then you got that extra thing in there, that extra print or that extra rookie card, or that extra autograph. Maybe it's the different cover. We got a cover B on this one. It's adding something else to. This is a great story, people. I'll tell you that right now. It's fun and exciting. I can't wait for desk support. Personally,
Yeah. And
but
on that
the
one, I think
artwork
we're
is amazing on
up to,
this one.
what are we up to on death support? Like cover E? Like seriously, we have 4 interconnecting covers for Matt Campbell. We have cover A from Zach Skellington Conley. By the way, shout out Zach. Happy birthday, buddy. It's Zach's birthday, and it's my buddy Carlos's birthday as well, who's a toy dealer. Big Top Collectibles, for anyone that's wondering. So shout out Carlos and shout out Zach, 2 of my buddies with their birthday on the same day, man. That's pretty cool. So like cover A, Zach Skellington Conley. Cover B, it is Ty Henderson. Cover C, D, E, F, Matt Campbell. I think, did I get them all?
I think so.
Yeah. So again, like what do people like? And people like collectibles, whether it's pops, whether it's magic cards, whether it's any sort of, Garbage Pail Kids or whatever, Power Ranger collectibles, sports cards, comic books. I think people just like to get their hands on different collectibles of the things they enjoy.
I think your number one collectible in this Kickstarter, the only place you're going to be able to get it is going to be that one of one original print, or not print, the original
watercolor painting. Yeah, you get the watercolor painting
for cover B.
Yeah,
Mike Lorenzo Art. Huge shout out to that dude.
Yeah,
very
huge shout out to Mike, who actually is he's in Hawaii right now. So shout out Mike, because I hit him up to join the show tonight. Yeah, I hit him up and then he was like, "Hey man, I'd love to, but I'm not here." I was like, "Oh, okay, never mind."
Well, he doesn't have a phone in Hawaii.
There you go.
I'm just saying.
You're on the island. You're on the island, boy. Like I'm not gonna bother you for tonight, but I wanted to play your video. We debuted it when we finished a Kickstarter campaign for Fake Booze. We'll talk about that in just a second, Ken. But I want everyone to see your work on the Suimmortal launch video. In case you've missed it or haven't checked out our Kickstarter campaign, here it is. And here we go. Yeah, and there it is, Suimmortal, and that is by, of course, me and Ty Henderson. Video production done by one Ken Sullivan. And again, I've backed campaigns on Kickstarter and Indiegogo merely based off the video. Like if the premise is good, and I believe the premise for Suimmortal is really good, but your videos help put things over the top, man. I love it. I love the energy. And like I told you when you debuted it, I was like, the music, man. How you picking out the music for that?
So I tried to find a really like futuristically techie, and I just had like like the animes and K-pop kind of mixed with that techno. So it took a while, even with that little bit of background, like techie type red art. I just wanted something like to have that ninja, that samurai type vibe, you know, and I think it turned out really good. I was pretty excited. I was like, yep, that's it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, that's it
lots of
for
fun
sure,
to
man.
go through.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was simply fantastic, and we are launched. We are live. I'll go ahead and put it in the video description as well. I'll put a link to the Kickstarter now if you want to check us out and check out Suimmortal. And it's a story that it's one that I think is very personal for me. It's one that I wanted to examine, and when I created Suimmortal, we're up to 10 backers right now. But when I created Suimmortal, Ken, I was like, and there have been some dabblings of this before in the superhero trope. But I was like, okay, what would it be like if your superhero was depressed? Right? It's in a way like Tony Soprano, where Tony Soprano was the mob boss and he had to go to therapy. Right? I
Mhm.
was like, okay, now put that in the superhero world. And this was probably 2000, 2002, something like that, when I first came up there with the idea of a superhero that thinks he's immortal and doesn't mind dying and just like goes after it. And all these criminals, and especially in our world and in the Gravis universe, where the celebrities, the superheroes are the sports celebrities. Like sports were boring. So it was the celebrity of the superhero that causes everyone to just love his stream and love his channel because he doesn't take any prisoners, like ever. So it's not the whole like you're going to jail, Mr. Criminal. It's like, oh, I caught you. Now you're gonna die. And people love that. It's something I've always said about football, Ken, is like people love the violence of football, but you don't necessarily, vocalize that. You're not like, yeah, I really love the big hits. Like you just do. So I think there's something about Soul Mortal that's what people want to see if this universe was actually real. Or it's like, yeah, you would want to watch that channel. It would be kind of the, rated R channel or whatever. It would be the channel where you could see somebody, the greatest of all time, hunting criminals. And that's how the idea came to me.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. I guess most of us would only watch NASCAR for the chance of a car crash. You
Right,
know,
right.
with Sue Immortal, there's no chance. You know, if he's going after a guy or a villain or whatever, that person's going down.
Yeah, yeah. He's going down. And the fact that, like, it's just so different because he doesn't have to be careful necessarily with himself. You know what I mean? Because he can, the first scene and when the first criminal that he hunts in the book, I won't give too much away, but that scene has been living in my head for 20 years. Like I'm like, okay, that's how you open a story and show someone how someone is just a badass and doesn't really care about, anything that could happen to themselves because they can't be harmed. And that type of bravado is something that I makes him an interesting character. And then taking that away from him, spoiler alert, but you get hints of that in issue number 1. Like, okay, now what do you do if you've spent your whole entire career being one way and you have to learn another way to do things?
Yeah, and that's kind of why I wanted to highlight that, like that zoomed in spot of like him beaming him in the eye with his weapon, and like just how badass he truly is, because he's like, "I'll kill her." Yep, I'll kill her. And then he's like, "Okay, whatever."
Yeah. Like,
You
I
know,
got you. Yeah.
it's like, all right, you
Yeah.
can try.
Yeah, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen for sure. And it's something also like I just like the idea, and this is nothing against anything or any other creator or creation or whatever. And I'm putting the link to our Kickstarter for Sue Immortal in right now. But I've always kind of cringed at the Clark Kent. Let me show you this, right? Okay, get ready for this, Ken. Like I'm Cecil Lammey right now. Now I'm somebody else. You know what I mean? I never liked that Clark Kent. Like, they can't tell the dude's huge. He's muscular. He's got the curly Q thing on his head, just like Superman. And like nobody could ever tell. Like, I always thought that was weak, and I understand it can make some good stories for hidden identities. I think Spider-Man when we think of hidden identities, but I like the idea that in our universe, everybody's just known. Everybody knows you, they follow you, they subscribe to you. You have like drones that follow you. You have no privacy. Like you're just there's no secret. There's no like I gotta protect my family with my secret identity. Like I can put on glasses and no one will know who I am. No, it's just you're out there. Everybody knows. I think it makes you more of a target because everybody does know like what you're doing, and you want to find out where these superheroes are. We'll just watch their channel. They're probably live streaming right now, so it gives an added element of danger because they always have to be on edge with everything. You know, they can't go through and be like normal people, really.
Well, and that's it. Like you bring up the they have a target on their back, and then you see so many different types of superhero movies, superhero comics, and stuff like that. Where if there would there be villains, like super villains, so to speak, if there wasn't the superheroes? But your first introduction he's not against a super villain.
Right.
He's chumming it up with one of the other characters. I won't say because you got to read it, but he's chumming. You're connecting those universes for one, and two, he's taking out regular bad guys, the thugs on the street.
Right. So it's street level crime, but there's also like any sort of cosmic or whatever type of thing that you want to hunt. Because if you're a criminal, if you're a bad guy, he's out there to stop you. So I personally have really enjoyed and I'm going to go through the artwork a little bit later, Ken, but like, just look at this cover. This cover A for Suimmortal, our Kickstarter ash can, of course. I did have a surprise because I don't think you've seen these yet, but that's our sketch.
I have
cover
one
for Fake Booze. Oh, yes, you do have one. Yes. I forgot. Yes. So I've got some that I'm going to be sketching on tonight. And also, before I let you out of here, Ken, and I appreciate you for jumping on, there it is. I'm going to have some sketch covers available for sale coming up at the All Seas Fan Expo. Let's tell our viewers about that, because obviously we are like a little bit over a month away from that happening.
We're about 4.5 weeks now. I expect.
Weeks, yeah.
I sold another 2 tables today. I sold 3 extra ones that weren't accounted for this weekend at the card show. So we have about 13 booths left for as far as vending, and April 7th, 8th, and 9th, free admission at the Arapahoe County Fairgrounds. We got the All Seas Fan Expo presented by Aurora Rise. Big things happening. So it's 35 years for All Seas. It's been a staple in Colorado and Aurora particularly. And then 10 years anniversary year for the Aurora Rise Foundation. And if you're unfamiliar with that, it was the nonprofit created after the Aurora Theater shooting to give back to the victims of that tragedy. And now, as they're transitioning from that, moving forward, they announced that they're going to be all the funds raised not only will help support those victims, but they're going to send it into the general victims impact fund as well. So, they're going to be helping out other victims of other crimes and whatnot as it seems fit. So they're doing great work. This is All Seas' way to reach out to the community, having a collector's expo. There's a collector's showcase. We have everything. We got artists, comic creators, sports radio personalities. We got Power Rangers.
Who would that be?
I know a guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
how many Power Rangers do you have? You have more than one Power Ranger, right?
We got 2 Power Rangers. One being the first full-time. Is very, very, very specific because there was 2 other female Red Rangers, 2 other female Red Rangers, but she's the first full-time female Red Ranger. So you get the Power Ranger fans get very particular on that. And then we have the Blue Time Force Power Ranger. We got Dragon Ball Z voice actor Mark Britton. We got comic colorist Dan Kemp of Spawn is his big stuff. So any Spawn fans out there, you know, then we're gonna have Zach Howard. He's been Marvel, DC. He's done when they relaunched Hellboy comic, the RIPD, or not the RIPD. That's the other guys, but their police force. And then we're also gonna have Jeffrey Peterson, the 420 comic.
BPRD, is that right? BPRD?
Is it BPRD? I think so.
Something like that. Yeah.
I just saw the RIPD 2 the other day. So
okay, you got it on your brain.
Yeah, I mean, but we're gonna have all types of collectibles.
By the way,
there.
free admission. Free
admission. If I didn't say that already, TCG tournaments. There's gonna be video game tournaments. There's gonna be a kids room. There will also be an Easter egg hunt presented by that kids room on that Sunday. So we have a lot of stuff going on. Cecil's gonna be there. He's gonna have 2.5 books out there. You know, he might be having already. He's always quick to the draw. He wants to make sure those books are printed. Death Support will probably already be printed if you're early access copies. So, I mean, you're looking at 3 books that you can get from there. Matt Campbell with those connecting covers is going to be there. Power Ranger Anthony's going to be there. We're going to have Legos, comics, cards, sports cards, TCG cards. I just signed up a lady with custom tumblers. We're looking at hopefully getting this laser engraver person.
Okay.
So there's going to be so much stuff.
Smokin Gun Comics tumblers or laser engraved, whatever. Like all that stuff's cool to me, man. Right?
Oh,
all that stuff.
I
cool.
have
all that 3D printed stuff. Like any sort of like custom collectible or whatever. Like our buddy Dom, I want him to make Gravis figures for me. You know, since he can 3D print action figures. I'm like,
you know, who would be good to design the 3D file would be. I was just talking about him the other day. It'll come back to me, but he's one of our local. He is also a comic creator. He created the Brown Hornet book. Is also all seats, and he can 3D design figures. He's doing it for his own characters, so that might be something. But I did have a good idea of something for your cards. That will ensue with laser engraving. It'll ensue with encapsulating your rookie cards and stuff. So I'll have to talk to you about that offline.
Okay. Okay.
We're adding stuff to the next Kickstarters. You got 2 covers for this Suimmortal. You got your rookie card. You got the original 1/1 Mike Lorenzo art watercolor painting for cover B. There's only one of those. So the lucky person that is willing to do that, that's that 1/1.
Yeah, that's the super boss tier. And by the way, I just got a note on Twitter. So it's something, I guess we're going to have an off-air conversation on the air, but that's fine because Ryan asked me, the only way to get cover B is for 100. I'm like, okay, let's talk about it and just send me a note. I'll be live streaming here for another 30 minutes or so. But like, yeah, let's see if we could throw in cover B on maybe a $35 tier, you know, instead of just all on the $100 tier. Because on the $100 tier, if you're like a boss, you get cover A, Suimmortal, Kickstarter, Ashcan. You get cover B, which is an 8-page version covered by Mike Lorenzo. You get a digital copy of Suimmortal, Ashcan, of course. You get a Suimmortal print. You get a Suimmortal rookie card. You get a Doctorate of Mechanics certificate, and you get a 3x5 sketch card of original art by me. So yeah, I did. Did you get to see my 3x5 cards I did for Fake Booze yet?
A few of them.
Okay. Yeah, I've got some more done. What is right behind me, as you can see, stacked up there, those are all the packages for Fake Booze. So those are going out this week. Because you said I like to print stuff early, I pick up Death Support in about a week. So like, that'll be awesome. And, you know, we just keep this thing rolling, baby. But I love the momentum that we built from Fake Booze. I certainly appreciate your help as always, Ken. And let's keep this thing going, right? We're 17% funded right now. We have 10 backers. Let's build that up. Let's see if before this stream's over, we can get 11 backers or 12 backers. And let's get this thing over that $2,000 mark so we can reach our goal we can get you those books and collectibles. Ken,
And
I
do
certainly
you want
appreciate
just
you,
cover
man.
B option on there added?
Or maybe on that $35 tier, we could say, like, tell us if you want cover A or cover B. I think that might be the best way instead of making another one. Just look over it. Let me know what you think. But I did get that question on Twitter. And again, with the customer, we just want the customer to be happy. So if you would prefer cover B instead of cover A, well, just let me know. I'm sure that's something maybe in that tier we could say like cover A or cover B, your choice. Just text me. We won't change anything officially yet tonight, Ken. But you and I will go back and forth on that and, see if that's, and this is what, when we add more stuff, as we're adding more stuff, it seems like each Kickstarter is growing. It's like, okay, now what? Now how about stickers? Now how about eventually t-shirts, eventually hats? You know what I mean? Like, these are all the things that are incoming as we continue to grow the brand and grow the business. Thanks to the Kickstarter for Fake Booze, and now we're kickstarting Suimmortal. So we're always here for the fans, Ken.
And don't forget that Fake Booze blank that you'll be able to get on the Indiegogo once that goes live.
Yes. And that'll be going live this week. So speaking of more things, we've got more things for you. Support Smokin' Gun Comics. We're going to set you up. Ken, I appreciate you, man. And thanks for jumping on here for this first half hour of the show.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
All right. Peace. There he goes. Ken, KS Productions right there. I am Cecil Lammey. Spencer is looking forward to it. Spencer, I appreciate you. And thank you very much for jumping on board as we continue the conversation about Suimmortal. And I'm going to go through the artwork with you here tonight as I continue to stream. And yeah, this is coming up on Indiegogo this month. This is on Kickstarter right now as we speak. Link is in the description. Suimmortal. He's pretty much suicidal and immortal. So that's a problem. And as I've said before on some of my live streams, if you look behind me, right there is Save the Cat. Shout out Blake Schneider. RIP to Blake Schneider. But in studying writing and in studying comics, it's always like, if you don't have conflict, you don't have a story. So when I come up with these stories, I go, okay, what's my conflict? Well, the guy wants to die and he can't die. That's a problem. What about if that flip-flops and he wants to live, but now he's going to die? That's a problem. That's Suimmortal. So I'll go through the artwork with you tonight. I do have another chat here, another comment in the chat room. And thank you all for chatting with me. Media Critic says, the KSE propaganda outlet disappeared from Comcast nearly 42 months ago. Their last telethon was begging people to switch from Comcast to DirecTV. That was precisely 36 months ago. What do you think, Cecil? What do I think? Well, it's my stream, so I could cuss. I can do whatever, right? But yeah, if someone wanted to say F Stan Kroenke, then that's what I would say. I know that I tweeted about some esports controversy that Stan Kroenke had because he was trying to quick flip or quick ROI on some esports teams, and people are like, it's his money, he can do whatever. I'm like, yeah, but he just left teams high and dry, much like he did the city of St. Louis. So yeah, F Stan Kroenke. There you go, media credit. What do I think about that? That's what I think. And there you go. Oh, here we go. Chris is on board. Chris is here and listening. Sorry I couldn't make it on tonight. I know, Chris. Man, Mike's in Hawaii. Chris is busy. I was like, okay, well, I will. Good thing I'm a chatty mofo myself. So I will continue chatting about this project and take you through some of the prospects and projects here and what we do. And what I do as the writer and co-founder of Smokin' Gun Comics is that I will write a script, and we're going to do a 4-banger of these books as well. That'll be available coming up later on Kickstarter, so just stay tuned for that. And I will show you my scripts. I will show you these rough out pages of the artwork that I'm looking at right now. This is Suimmortal. So what I do in creating these comic books is I have an idea, right? Fake Booze was the idea of a fake book ghost busting business, right? By the way, Superman Donkey says, St. Louis Rams fan here. Please talk more about Kroenke. I need to inject it. Yeah, Cronky sucks. That's what he does. He's a billionaire and doesn't really care about the little guy. That's for sure. Doesn't care about the fans either. So there you go. See what you started, media critic, talking about the KSE propaganda outlet. That's funny. When I make these comics and when I go through these stories, first you start with the idea. With Fake Booze, it was fake ghost busting business. Wouldn't that be funny? Like, just you have you're lying, you're not really busting the ghost. Maybe the people aren't actually haunted. Maybe they are, and you're just taking their money and fake ghost busting. Okay, that's, conflict. What would happen if the military then discovered your talents and hired you to fight real ghosts and real demons, hell bent on destroying the planet? Okay, that's conflict, right? You've been faking it. Now you got to make it. Now you've got to be real. That was the story of Suimmortal. Or excuse me, that was the story of Fake Booze. The story of Suimmortal started with, a superhero battling depression, a superhero who has lived since the feudal Japan days. I have the number written down somewhere, but I believe Suimmortal was born in the late 1600s in feudal Japan, which I believe was 1600s roughly. So we're talking about someone who's 600 years old. We're talking about someone who has been the same age since he was cursed to live as many lives as he's taken. And that's what you see with Suimmortal. You're like, he's just ah he's over it, right? He's over it. And it's something that when you have gone through that, and it's something that you go through and you get sick of going through, and the day-to-day routine, like you're Mr. Popular, you're the fan favorite, right? Suimmortal is everybody's favorite, and he just doesn't care. Like, he's not rude to the fans at all, but like he just, anybody that he ever cared for is gone, has long been gone, and he's cursed to live as many lives as he's taken. And as an assassin in feudal Japan, he took hundreds and hundreds of lives. So he's cursed to live those lives, and that's why he's 600 years old. I'll show you one of the pages, interior artwork right there, where Suimmortal, he does a selfie with one of the fans. If I can get that camera to focus a little bit more. So he like selfies it up, and this guy is like, man, can I take a picture with you? And he's so excited to meet Suimmortal. And as they walk away and they wave at each other, you can see it right there. As they walk away, Suimmortal thinks, I smile for the camera, even under the helmet, but it's all an act. The fans love me because I take no prisoners on the hunt. Too bad I don't love myself. So this is what you're dealing with Suimmortal. So anyway, so you start with an idea and you start with conflict. Where's the conflict within your story? If you don't have conflict, you don't have a story. I've got a bunch of notes here around my studio computer. It's like, writing is making choices. Okay. Life requires the guidance of the soul. All right. And then the ultimate Glenn Gear, shout out Glenn Gears, writing for screens on YouTube. What do they want? Why can't they get it? What do they do about it? Like, write all characters assuming these questions. Who are they? What do they want? Why can't they get it? What do they do about it? Like, that's the basis of all stories. So in studying storytelling, it's been fascinating for me because it is such a joy to learn or reverse engineer the way that stories are told and the way that movies are made. Because again, all of these are comic books right now. So right now, you can get the Kickstarter ash can for Suimmortal, right? This is a comic book. This is, I think, 24 pages because it's 8 pages of story and then it's 12 pages of ads. Get inside cover, inside back cover. So yeah, it's 22 pages, 24, and then the cover and the outside cover. So anyway, so like this is a story. This is an ash can. This is an introduction. It's still the same size of a normal comic book, right? And Chris is talking about how he explained an ash can to his son, and he's in awe of the entire process. Well, thank you, Chris's son. And if you look at Suimmortal and the comics that we do, like, it's going to be an introduction to the story. I believe Gun Disciplined is 9 pages, Gravis is 10 pages. But most stories are going to be like an 8-page story. This is an introduction. It's an ash can. Ash cans have been done since the beginning of comic books, basically just to solidify your uh, protective rights. At least that's what they did back in the 20s and 30s. And not the 100 years ago. That's what they were doing, making small ash cans out of just paper, basically, newsprint paper. These are normal size comic books, but it's a shorter story. It's an introduction. And inside, we also put in, of the other 7 IPs besides Suimmortal. Let's see if I can name them all. Fake Booze, Gravis, Terminally Kill, Gun Disciplined, Ghost Gun, The Familiars, Death Support. I think I got them all, in addition to Suimmortal. So what you see now is that introduction to the story. So you have to have conflict in the story. Death Support, which I'll talk more about when we get to kickstarting Death Support. That'll be in a month. So the end of March is when we're going to kickstart Death Support. But that was an idea that I had, basically, of like, Death is a big job. I bet she can't do it by herself. I bet you need your family. You always need your family. It's a family business, right? Family business is dying. That's the tagline. Suimmortal's tagline is he's like dying to die and he's living to die. Like, that's his tagline. And what if you could save the world, but you can't save yourself? That's Suimmortal. That's who he is. That's conflict. So you take conflict. I write the script. And again, the scripts will be available in our 4 bangers. We're going to take the 4 stories of the first 4 Kickstarters. We're going to put them all in one collection, probably about 96 pages or so. And it'll have behind the scenes stories. It'll have behind the scenes artwork and sketches. It'll have the full scripts. I will probably introduce or include some of these pages that you can see my handwriting was like trying to fill out more of the frame. Yeah, so that's going to be fun to put that collection together, and another way to support Smokin' Gun Comics in a trade paperback form instead of a comic book form. So you start with the story. You have to have conflict. So I got tons of ideas. I got tons of conflict. Trust me, we have 8 IPs. I stopped at 8 because I'll get like a new idea and I'll just write it down. And I'll be like, damn it, I got to get these other ideas going. So like we have 8 intellectual properties. Trust me, baby, there's a lot more up here. And as Chris can attest to, we have 150 characters, over 150 characters in our superhero universe. Fake Booze is not connected to that. Ghost Gun, Gun Discipline, not connected to that. The Familiar is not connected to that. Terminally Kill, not connected to that. Gravis and Suimmortal are in the same universe. So out of our 8 IPs, we have 2 from our superhero universe, Gravis and Suimmortal. Gravis is April, end of April. Suimmortal is now, right now on Kickstarter. So go there and support it now, please and thank you. So you write the story, you write the script. I have a very good artist in Ty Henderson. Shout out Ty Henderson for doing the interior artwork, just like he did for Fake Booze. And so I will write the camera angle, basically. Like, this is where that camera is going to be. This is the shot. I describe it to him. And the great thing about Ty, and you don't get this with every artist, and artists, I'm an artist. So as I say this, I'm not insulting anybody because I take this myself. Like, artists, we are sensitive, right? We're a sensitive lot. Do you like me? Do you really like me? That's what artists are. So as an artist myself, I can say like, yeah, I'm sensitive about my work, right? I want people to like it. You really like me. But the great thing about Ty is he doesn't need to ask me a zillion questions. You know what I mean? Like, I say, here's the camera angle, here's the shot. He gives it to me, he draws it. And to this day, as Ty is currently working on Ghost Gun, because Gun Discipline is done, I have the edited pages right here. I can maybe sneak peek a little bit of that to you. I've never had to correct a camera angle for Ty. I've never had to go back in and say, how about this or this? Like, nothing ever major. Maybe just some like shading issues, or like, how about this for this? Like, very minor stuff. So to have someone, and this is great about no matter what you do in life, I work in sports radio as an analyst and all that. It's like, you have to have good people around you. When you do that, as I found with Zach Skellington Conley as the art director. Shout out Zach. Happy birthday, Zach. Everyone wish happy birthday to Zach. Also then with Ty, just doing this artwork with the direction that I give him, and then he sees it and puts it on page. I'm the type of person, as I tell all artists, and whether you make a cover for Smoking Gun Comics or whether you're doing interior art for Smoking Gun Comics, I always say, like, I'm going to let you create. I'm not going to get on the way of your creative process. I'm going to have you on a time schedule because I need the pages done. And, all this is contracted work and stuff like that. But for me, it's like, okay, I'm not going to hover over you telling you that you need to draw it this way. This needs to be done differently. No, I'm going to tell you, and then you're going to go. For Suimmortal, we were able to get one of the best professional letterers that is out there for independent comics. He does Mythica, and his name is Tim West. He's from the UK. So Tim West jumped on board with us for Suimmortal. Suimmortal was the first issue that he did, and he just finished up some really cool cover work for Gun Disciplined and some interior covers for Gun Disciplined. Again, a little sneak peek of that stuff for you guys as we go on. But through the process we go. So idea, conflict, and hey, here's Gabe El Taib. Right on, man. Gabe, what's up, dude? Hope the book does great. We appreciate you, brother, as always. Go check out his work on Indiegogo, Truth, Justice, and the American Way. Check out Isom. If you're a comic book fan, you already know Isom. You know what Eric July and Gabe El Taib are doing with that book. Gabe is the colorist on Isom, so everyone check that out. Gabe, appreciate you. Says, let's go, Vance Joseph. That's right. We're back. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see VJ again and just be like, please say we're back. Please just say we're back. We're back. So there you go. Shout out Gabe. So thanks for jumping in the chat room. Superman Donkey says, is it too late to get in on Fake Booze? Well, our Fake Booze Kickstarter is closed. And again, right behind me, you can see those stack of boxes. Those are Fake Booze boxes ready to go into the mail this week. This is the Fake Booze blank cover. This will be available on Indiegogo, in addition to another exclusive cover that is on Indiegogo. That's coming this week. So Superman Donkey, just follow along. Follow me on Twitter at Cecil Lammey or on Facebook or what have you. We will be getting Fake Booze to Indiegogo this month. So we're doing Kickstarter 1 month. We're doing Indiegogo the next month. And then once a Kickstarter is done, like Fake Booze finished a week ago tonight, I believe it was a week ago tonight, and then starting Suimmortal. Once Suimmortal is done, here comes Death Support. The family business is dying. Like, so once Death Support is done, here comes Gravis. Gravis in our superhero universe. With great power comes zero responsibility. You see cover A behind me there. So like, yeah, man. And then once those are done, say once Suimmortal is done on Kickstarter, we'll have a different cover, different offers for Indiegogo. So we're hitting the comic book community. We also are hitting the Hollywood community as well. So I write these scripts almost like a screenplay. It's kind of a hybrid of a comic book script, which I've studied, and then a screenplay, which I've written treatments. I haven't finished a full screenplay, but I've written in that style enough. So I send the script to my artist, Ty Henderson, down in Texas. Shout out Ty again. And he sends me back this art. And then I will go before it goes to the letterer, or actually I'll send the script and the finished art to the letterer, to Tim West. And Tim will send me back like a rough draft type thing. And then that's when I take it, and you'll see my notes. Because this panel originally, when the phone was ringing, because I'll give you a little preview. New York City never sleeps, but even heroes need their rest. Even things at peace can be full of turmoil inside. And then you see the everybody dies, everybody dies, everybody dies, just let me. And that's the incoming video call from Gravis, a little teenager kind of annoying the old man, so to speak. And if you are a fan of Head PE, you'll recognize that the Everybody Dies is from one of their songs. So his ringtone for Suimmortal is a Head PE, Head Planet Earth song. Everybody Dies, Just Let Me. I don't think I could play it. YouTube would probably get mad at that. YouTube would get mad if I started playing that. But yeah, so Waiting to Die is the name of the song. It's song number 2 on their Broke album. I'll show you the cover here. And then again, I don't think I can play it because YouTube would get mad at that. But there you go. Head PE, Broke. And the song is Waiting to Die. You can't see anything. I think I need a better camera. Anyway, Head PE, Broke, Waiting to Die is the name of the song. And so that's his ringtone. So he wakes up, he's startled, points the gun at the camera. Everybody dies. And then see how this panel, originally in the first copy, it didn't have anything. So as I'm looking over this first page, and I wrote this, I felt, just so excited when I saw this artwork. It made me very emotional. Suimmortal is a very personal story. And so I saw it and there wasn't anything in that panel. And I was like, okay, you woke up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m., right? It's some kid calling you that's annoying. And so what would my response be? Well, my response would be, what the F? What the blank? I think this is made for kids. Chris, you run the YouTube channel. You tell me. Is this video made for kids? Can I cuss or not? But anyways, so I wrote for Tim to go back there and say, in this spot where the number 1 is, for this right here, have him say, what the F, or who the F is calling me, whatever. So like, that's what I do as I go through the lettered artwork. And, so you see him standing here at his bathroom sink, the ringtone's still going off. Everybody dies, just let me. And again, in the original version of this, there wasn't any text there. So I was like, okay, well, I need to explain to the reader, like, okay, well, I better answer this or he won't stop calling me, or Gravis won't stop calling me. I want people to know, like, he knows, he saw a screen, he knows it's the kid, the little 18-year-old, great powers, zero responsibility. Because again, I love Spider-Man, second favorite superhero behind Batman. But as a father of 1 teenager left and 2 others that have grown up past their teenage years, let's say responsible and teenager doesn't exactly go together all the time. So it's like, with great power comes great responsibility. That's fine in 1965. In the 2000s, it's a little different. And it was probably different back then too. I know it was different for me. Lord knows when I was a teenager, I was just a hellion or a piece of S. Chris will attest to that. He was my college roommate. So there you go. So anyways, you can see this is how I get the artwork. And then I will print it off and I'll make these notes for Tim West, the letterer. I'll send him back these pages. I'll scan them in and then I'll send them back to Tim. Tim will make the additions. Like this panel right here, I moved. It's now up here on the version that you're going to get. On this version here, that panel is different. So you get your Kickstarter action can of Suimmortal. Well, then that box is in a different spot. So, it's just these type of things that you do as you're editing and, just throwing in more information, maybe filling out panels a little bit more, giving them a little bit more to look at or to read or to go through. Not too much. I think panels can certainly be too busy, but where, you're giving enough for the reader, to fill the page, to look, like you want it to look. And that's what I've done through these notes for the letter of Tim. And then this probably, I won't give away what everybody says here, but see this middle panel right here, these 3 people that are watching the stream, because Suimmortal's going to kill this gang member / rapist. What is said here, I don't toot my own horn, but like what is said right here from this kid is hilarious. I think it's hilarious because again, this is what everybody does. This is everybody's sports. Sports, I guess they're still a thing, but they're not much in our universe. What people want to watch in our universe is heroes hunt criminals. They want to watch battles of supervillains versus superheroes. As our superheroes work for governments and have the Global Protection Agency, the GPA. There's cosmic threats. That's more in Gravis right there. Check them out. Cover A. little teenager, most powerful being in the universe. He just doesn't even care. Anyway, so like that's the artwork and the process for Suimmortal. Then Tim will send me the finished artwork. I will give him the thumbs up and say it's done. Thank you very much. Then he will finish it. He'll give me 2 forms, one digital version, one print version. The print version is higher resolution, so it's higher quality when you print. Got a couple of great printers. First off, shout out Paragon Graphics and Keith, my buddy. If you need graphics work or business cards, flyers, those type of things, Keith does a great job. Paragon does a great job, and then Avanti Press does our comics. Bob at Avanti is I always tell him every time I see him because he's an old hippie, and I say that with all respect, Bob. But I always tell him, I'm like, dude, you're my favorite person in the world, man. Because every time I see Bob, I'm picking up comics. And it just makes me like super, super happy to be picking up these comics to then turn around and sell to you and make them available to you on crowdfunding. I'll give you a little sneak peek. This is page 1 of Death Support. So Suimmortal is a really personal story for me. As someone who has had bouts with depression, it's like, okay, that's concerning. How do you get through that? Like, what are the tools that you use? Now, what if you're a superhero and you have bouts with depression? Like, how does that feel? How does that look? What do you do? What if you can't die? So life really doesn't mean as much to you. Like, what if you have to just kind of learn to love life through death? And that's the story of Suimmortal. Chris says he remembers talking about concept of Suimmortal back in college. So happy to see you pursuing it. Thank you very much, Chris. As always, your contributions to Smokin' Gun Comics are always very well appreciated. And of course, Chris says I can cuss. All right. Well, there you go. Fuck. I just cussed. I remember when I first heard Dave Logan cuss off the air one time, as I started on KOA years ago. I was like, oh my God, Dave Logan just said fuck. And it was like the greatest thing ever. So maybe somebody else is enjoying me saying the F word. But anyway, I'm from the country, so I work in profanity like an artist works in oils or watercolors. That's a quote from Christmas Story. Somebody watches a lot of movies. So Suimmortal is a very personal story because it's about depression, basically, and learning to love life, to have things to live for. That's what Suimmortal is the story about. Again, conflict, lots of conflict. Death Support, man alive. Once you read this character, I won't give too much away about Kyle, but once you read Kyle and his character, you're probably going to know who it's based off of. It's, again, a personal story, but a real fun story there as well. And I'll get to some of the back pages here as I give you a little preview of Death Support. There's Death and her sisters meeting, going over their accounting of souls, basically. You don't want a forced soul removal. It's a possession, basically. I'm not exactly sure where the term forced soul removal came from. I believe it was from maybe the Far East, in some sort of Hindu teachings or something. Like, they definitely concerned about demonic possession, like no forced soul removals. So Death Support kind of manages souls. They prepare you to die, basically. And I'll get into, when we kickstart that one, I'll tell you the story of how I came up with the idea. So yeah, this is Death and her sisters, and they're conversing back and forth, and they're going over the accounting, the ledger of souls, basically. So there you go. Death Support is going to be flipping awesome, just like Suimmortal is flipping awesome. I guess I can cuss though. So, and then finally, you guys are getting all sorts of sneak peeks tonight. Here's Gun Disciplined. Gun Disciplined is an incredible story about life after a nuclear apocalypse, nuclear war. And you have people that live in glass dome cities. You can see Dome Denver right here on front page, on page number 1. So you have people that live in dome cities, and then you have the people that live outside the domes that are hunted by the government, because you're not supposed to live outside the domes, because then you're dirty, you're unclean, what have you. You are unchosen, basically, unpersoned is the word I would use. So the gun disciplined are about these, people that try to fight back against a government with robots. You also fight some zombies in this one because people left over after nuclear apocalypse, the ones that weren't herded in or underground or protected, they weren't chosen. They started mutating. So you have not necessarily zombies, but they're more like mutant type zombies, and the government and regular people hunting you. And you just want to live. You want to live off the land. You want to survive. You want to be okay. I'll cover up part of this panel because I don't want to give away some of the spoiler. But there's the first image of Ghost Gun. So she's the leader of the gun disciplined, and she's awesome. Oh, and wait till you find out more about her. But anyway, so that's my process in going through. So that's how it starts. It starts with that idea. It starts with a conflict because every good story has a conflict. And then it goes through the art process before it goes to the printer. Again, shout out the birthday boy, Zach Skellington Conley. I give him the artwork. He gets it ready for the printer. The printer's printed up, and we have your comics right here. And Chris reminds you, hit the subscribe button and like the video. Please share and comment. Yeah. And that's the thing that I noticed about fake booze. It's not champagne, everybody. It's Martinelli, Cesar. So one thing I noticed about fake booze is like a lot of people just want to support the company. They want to support me. And that's incredibly humbling, right? Because I'm just getting these stories out there. Like you can read a bit about the story, but you are, essentially hoping and backing the campaign, hoping that the story is good and that you like the story. And I hope you like it as well. Like I really do, because these are stories to me that are very personal on varying levels. Look at that, 12 backers right now. We're almost to $500. Thank you guys. My God, you guys are incredible. I appreciate you very much for that. That really means a lot. And then Ryan says he loves my work. So yeah, man. Yeah, Ryan, we appreciate you, man. Thank you very much for jumping on here. And yeah, and that's the thing. Like when you want to, look at things, when you want to kind of go over some stuff and figure out what's going on, well, there you have it. You just reach out and you say, hey, people, what do you want? And that's what we try to do with Smokin' Gun Comics and get the stories out there. I think it's Jake Parker. So I'm shouting out everybody. Even though I don't know Jake Parker, but he has a YouTube channel that's really good for artists. Like you want a product, you don't want a project. And I mean, I'm going to show you something. I have this on my wall right next to me. And I believe this was drawn. Now I got old man eyes. I believe this was drawn in 2001. So these are some of the superheroes in the Gravis universe. There's Gravis right there in the middle. There's his dad, Phi. There's an early, that's Nightblade, actually. Suimmortal's down here. One of the early versions of Suimmortal is down here, somewhere right here. So that's one of the earliest versions of Suimmortal. He has a cape and he has a different logo. He doesn't have the Crown Phoenix yet on his head. The Crown Phoenix was an actual crown worn in feudal Japan. There's a reason why Suimmortal wears the sign of his princess. So that's told in the story as well. There's Bloodshed, Psylord, Arachnus, Taurus, Kodiak, Timberline, Tremor, Bangle, Moonraker. Totally not Moon Knight. Battle-In. There's Battle-In right there. Let's see. Justice, Seminole. There's Jim. She's important. There's Puma. I don't know who the hell that is. I have to go back and look. Anyway, so like this is 2001. This is 21 years old. This piece of art that I drew. Okay, like cool. You don't need a project. You need a product. And I thank Jake Parker for saying that on one of his YouTube videos, because it's like, damn it, I've had these ideas in my head forever. Eric and I came up with Gravis in 91. I met Chris in 1992. I was talking about this stuff. That's 30 years ago. So do I want to sit around and be like, man, those comics? Or do I want to say, you know what? I work 2 jobs. I cover the NFL. I'm busy all the time. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm still going to make comics because I want to make comics. And it's been something like, I got to put it out there and I got to put the products out there. So I guess that's probably why when I see that old hippie Bob, and shout out Bob again, I say it with love. Um, like I love picking up comics that I made. I love picking up comics that Zach did covers to, that Ty did interior art to, that I might be doing some sketch covers for. Like we got the Matt Campbell interconnecting covers for Death Support. Like I love picking up that product because that means I'm doing it. I'm not talking about it. Talk is cheap. Actions are what matters. It's the generative principle. You can sit around and think about something all day because there's a common more new agey type of philosophy of like what you think about you bring about, and I definitely believe in that because what you focus on is where you're going. If you think your life sucks, your life's going to suck. If you think like I can do it, you're going to do it. I'm going to go do it. So yes, but it's more than thinking. The holy trinity of life is basically thoughts, emotions, and actions. You need to have all 3: thoughts, emotions, and actions. You can't just think about stuff. Like I've been thinking about comics for 30 years. I've been thinking about comics my entire life. If my sister Carrie is watching, shout out Carrie. When I was little, like 3rd grade little, I did my first comic, Paul the Pioneer. And then when I got to middle school, I did another story. I don't know if I ever made Nick the Knight a story. And I have no idea why I love the alliteration, but Paul the Pioneer, my middle name's Paul. Shout out Grandpa Paul Gonzalez. Um, so like I had Pioneer Paul, I believe I was in 3rd grade. And I did the ash can thing where I took a page and I drew on it on both sides. I folded it, did a couple of those pages, folded it over. Boom, done. Staples, comic book, done. I wish I still had those. I don't think I do. Maybe Dad does. But like I've been thinking about comics for 30 years. Like it's time to you think it's time, old man? Yeah, it's time to get stuff done. So when I pick up these comics, when I present them to you for sale, it just makes me so happy. It makes me so happy that people are backing the projects, not just to support me and my dream and my passion, but just to support the art and the artists and the work and the time. It was a year ago in March. So we're coming up, and I'll get the exact date precisely. But a year ago in March, when Zach came up to me and he's like, I'm going to help you get your comics off the ground. And I was like, okay. I had no idea. I was sitting there with Chris, and what do we have, Chris, at that table? I think I might have had maybe some prints, maybe. So I'm there as a featured artist, and I had some like ideas, but I had maybe some prints. I don't even think I had the Gravis comics yet. It did have the trading cards, I believe, because we were handing out packs of trading cards to kids, and it was cool to see the kids bust. I got Gravis. Who'd you? I got Suimmortal. Yay! Every pack had the same cards in it, but it was funny just to see the kids go through and be like, "Oh, I got Jim." Woo! Anyway, so it was a year ago. A year. Now, Fake Boost is done. Suimmortal is done. Gun Discipline is done. Death Support is done. Gravis is almost done. Ghost Gun is getting done. Terminally Kill has yet to be started. And The Familiars is hopefully going to be started very, very, very soon. And I got another cover coming from Heidi Davis. So make sure to check out Heidi's cover. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, and Chris reminds me, I think we had some trading cards, prints, and some business cards. That's what I was there with. So a year ago, and again, this gets back to the generative principle. And a year ago, I'm sitting there with Chris, like, hey, man, I'm at a comic book convention. Hey, come on down. And we had a great time. Got to hang out, got to catch up. I didn't have anything, I had some prints, which are great. Some business cards, great. Trading cards, awesome. Like I said, and no comics, none. we'd done Gravis in 2014. I told the story, and on the introduction video, you learn why we did Gravis when Eric had cancer and he was going through his chemo and his surgeries, plural. I was like, let's do the comic, get his mind off of things. And, you know, I wanted to get our comic out there, you know, just to say that we did it. You know what I mean? We did it. And I think there's a lot of power in that, because too many people, they'll be like, I can't do it, or I'm afraid to do it. And I don't think that's the right way to live. Not that I know everything, not that I'm the smartest guy ever. I'm certainly no genius, but I just know that when it feels good to you, it must be good for you. Maybe not everything, but like making comics makes me feel good. Getting my stories out there makes me feel good. Finding great artists, great printers, great friends, great coworkers, like to get this done. And in a year, in 1 year, I now have successfully kickstarted one comic, Fake Booze. I am almost at $500 of a $2,000 goal. And this is the official launch tonight. We soft launched on Friday. So basically in 3 days, I have almost $500. I think it's like $496 right there, baby. But like almost 500 of a $2,000 goal with 27 days to go. So like, yes, let's keep up that momentum. I'm never going to, you know, take it for granted or be like, we got it. Like, no, let's get to that 2000, baby, so I can get the comics out there. In a year, it's been a lot of hard work, some frustration, to be sure, because stuff isn't always smooth. But what do you want at the end of the day? What do you want? Do you want a product, or do you want a project? Do you want to chase your dream, or do you want to say it's my boss's fault, or it's my dad's fault, or it's my coworker's fault, or it's my wife's fault, or it's my husband's fault? Like, what do you want to say? What do you want to say? You're the one driving your life. You're the one that's in control. There are certain things out of your control always, but the things you can control, why do you not want to do it? What? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. When I was younger, when Gravis was supposed to be in Lords #2, which never came out because Lords #1 was the only print that Legend Comics did, and that was 93. So Eric and I were teenagers making that comic. And like when they went out of business and Eric and I are like, it's over, we'll never make it. Like, I would never do that today. I just laugh at my younger self and I'm like, man, that's funny. I'm glad Chris still likes me, because I was a bit of an asshole when I was growing up. Probably still am one, but Chris, shout out Chris. You know, I'm glad to be here at this point in my life where I can just be like, I'm gonna go for it. Like, The Rock may not buy Fake Booze, but what if he does? He ain't gonna buy me just sitting there talking about it. He might buy the actual product though, which is right there. Shout out The Rock. Mr. The Rock is what I called him when I interviewed him, because I am a moron. But like, just go for it, right? Again, the generative principle. Do it. Just do it. Like, go for it. Make it happen. What do you want? Now go get it. So what I want is I want y'all to help support Smokin' Gun Comics. I want y'all to, you know, be safe, be kind, all those types of things. Like, and I think it's just a good lesson for all of us, is just like, find what you love and do what you love. And I love football. I know a lot of people are nervous, like, are you going to leave football? Like, no, I don't think I ever could. But it's like, I want to make comics. The universe is telling me to finally get off my ass and make comics. Because again, 30 years ago, I was talking about this stuff. Well, what am I waiting for? You know, like, what? You got ideas? There's ways now out there with crowdfunding, certainly. You want to write a children's book? Go for it. Crowdfund it. Put it on Kickstarter. Find great artists, great people to work with. You know, you want to build your own product. You're an entrepreneur, whatever. You want to start a business. Yes. Go for it. I'll shout out Carlos again. I met Carlos, and it's his birthday today. Him and Zach share the same birthday. They don't even know each other. I met Carlos when he lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in Arvada, and not a good apartment either. And not a good part of Arvada. Arvada is really weird, because my buddy Sean, his dad owned the machine shop when I first got hired by S&H Products in 2000 and first moved to Denver. And like his dad owned the machine shop. He had like a mansion on Arvada, but you went like a block, and it was kind of maybe not the greatest place to live, like a block away from the dude's mansion. But anyway, so like I met Carlos when he lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. And God bless all of us. We all got to start somewhere, right? I mean, I grew up with no money, like none of that stuff, on the middle of nowhere, whatever. Carlos today, beautiful home. His business is Star Wars toys. He went from doing that part-time. He worked at like Soundtrack and stuff, to now running his own business, a very successful business of selling Star Wars toys. That's it. That's all Carlos does. And on Saturdays, he'll drive around in his Corvette and deliver. He's like Santa Claus with a bunch of money, with toys, with Star Wars toys. Now, how did a guy like Carlos do that? Going from a 1-bedroom apartment, not the greatest place to live, not a ton of money, to now being very successful and doing exactly, and he doesn't work at Soundtrack anymore. How did he do it? The generative principle. He did it. He thought about it and he did it. He thought about it and he went for it. He didn't sit around and make excuses of, I can't do this and I can't do that. Whether you say you can or you can't, you're right. Just remember that. So the inspiration for these comics, it's just what I'm supposed to do. I would say that's the best way to put it. It's what I'm supposed to do, because I've been talking about it long enough. It's finally time to make it happen. And before my voice gives out on me, just one final reminder. Everyone, go to Kickstarter now. Get your Suimmortal ash can. We're at $486. So close to $500 of a $2,000 goal. And I appreciate everyone that has already jumped on board. I appreciate you all for, like, share, comment, subscribe to all those YouTube things. And we appreciate you. Happy birthday, Zach. Happy birthday, Carlos. Shout out to Big E. Hope to get Big E on one of these streams real soon. Co-founder of Smokin Gun Comics. Shout out to Chris. Chris, you'll jump on next time. Mike Lorenzo, our cover B artist, will be coming on board here pretty soon. I'll get an interview with him up. Shout out to Ken Sullivan for KS Productions, who does the video production for Smokin Gun Comics. And make sure to check out our website real soon. Should be opening, right, Chris? Real soon. SmokingGunComics.com. He's done a really good job on it. So I'll be very, very happy to debut that site as well. So I am Cecil Lammey saying thank you all for watching. Be safe, be kind, know that you're appreciated. Stay tuned. And as always, stay frosty.